Hello my friends, I'm Kote. Today I will review safety of phone usage and other digital devices. Let's start with common myth that phone usage causes brain cancer. There is idea that phone has radiation. This radiation affects our DNA. It changes our DNA and it causes cancer. And if we speak with phone, phone is very proximity is very near to our brain, so it can damage our brain cells and causes cancer. There is some studies which really highlights this effect, and we have some studies which says that porn really can increase brain cancer such as glioma, but this effect is very small. Study was huge. We have several important studies, including one study is called Interpone, another study is Serenat, and they are huge studies, and they observe people over the years, for example 10 years, and among heavy users, the people who was heavy users have increased risk of brain cancer, specifically glioma. So this increased risk was in some cases increased risk was 40%, and some cases it was almost 200%. So this risk is considered as statistically important, but how really big is clinically, it's under question mark, because according to scientific society, this risk is not big enough, because human generally has 0.5 risk of glioma, lifetime risk, and if we increase this risk 40%, it's still not big. For example, because we already have breast cancer risk 13% lifetime risk among women, of course, and prostate cancer 11%, almost 12% among men. So we already carry much huge risks of other common cancers. So this even porn can increase this risk. This risk is not very high, and such changes of risk was among heavy users. And who are heavy users? Heavy users were defined like this: person who uses phone calls around 30 minutes per day for 10 years. So it's heavy using. Heavy using also when you texting or playing games on phone for several hours a day. Of course, it's heavy using also. So heavy using of phones can increase risk of brain cancers. There are some but inconsistent and inconclusive researches which says that heavy using of phone can also increase risk of neuroma, acoustic neuroma, or also parotid gland cancer and leukemia. But there are also other researches who says that there is no such associations. So even these risks exist, such risks are very low. So we can more focus on brain cancer such as glioma, which and we really have some important studies which confirms that heavy using of phone can increase risk of glioma. Mechanism is not well known, of course, but phone has radiation. It's non-ionizing radiation. So we have two types of radiation: ionizing radiation and non-ionizing radiation. Ionizing radiation is, for example, gamma rays, for example, X-rays. It can directly damage DNA, but non-ionizing radiation is, for example, light. and it cannot directly damage cells and DNA. But it is thought that PON radiation, which is non-ionizing, can also damage DNA and cause it can cause oxidative stress. Oxidative stress damages DNA and it can cause cancer. Its theory, we have no exact mechanism, of course, but people think that it really can cause damage of DNA. And another factor, World Health Organization, radio frequency, electromagnetic radiation is considered possible carcinogenic, or B2. It means that there is really exists this risk that electromagnetic radiation can cause some cancers, but this risk is not big, and this risk is not very important. Maybe very important, but is not directly correlated clinical situation, because already billions of people using PONs, but there is no significant increase brain tumors cases. So it means that we have evidence that yes, maybe some effect exists, but this effect is not big. And what about safety? How we can protect ourselves? First recommendation is use loudspeaker or PON speaker. When you're talking to person, you can press loudspeaker, and proximity of PON will be much more distance than when you speak directly. Second is using texting instead of calling. If it's possible, better to text than call. Don't use PON where poor signal. It's very important because most radiation is during phone calls when there is poor signal. PON has most strongest radiation in this case. And keep always safe distance. What is safe distance? Safe distance is at least 6 inch. 6 inch is around 15 centimeters. It must. You should keep you should keep PON at least 6 inch from your head. And during sleep, try to avoid PON near you. Maybe next room, maybe several feet away, which is more convenient and possible for you. At least try to avoid PON during sleep several meters or several feet away from you. Or you can turn your PON to airplane mode. It's also protective. And now let's review what other devices, what effect have other devices on our health. Laptops and tablets. Laptops and tablets can decrease sperm quality and sperm mortality among males. And there is some studies which say that they can increase thyroid cancer cases among women. But these studies need confirmation, and further researches are needed to have most obvious picture what they are doing. And about earphones, can cause hearing damage, especially if you listening music 90 decibels or higher, or 80 decibels for prolonged period of time. It can cause hearing damage and eventually hearing loss. So most threat still comes from PONs, and most studies also we have about PONs. That's why maybe we have no enough information about laptops and tablets and computers. but still most researches are about phones. Let's summarize now. It's important to say that if we say that phone causes brain cancer, it's not correct, because we have no important elevation of brain cancers, and lots of people, already billions of people, using phones daily, and we have no such direct correlation. But we have some studies among heavy users and long-term studies. In heavy users, it can cause increase glioma risk. Glioma is brain tumor. So this myth is partially true, actually. What was mechanism? Mechanism is oxidative stress. World Health Organization add radiation, electromagnetic radiation, as possible carcinogen, or B2. How to protect ourselves? Use loudspeaker, use texting, don't use phone where poor signal, keep safe distance, don't keep your phone when you're sleeping. And what about other devices? Laptop and tablets can cause sperm problems, sperm health, and also there is some researches, according to them, it can cause thyroid cancer, or it can increase thyroid cancer risk. And earphones can cause hearing damage. That's all. If you like my videos, please thumbs up. If you like my channel, please subscribe. Thank you very much. Bye for now.